Well, let me welcome now on the show a very special guest to talk us through this technology and what it means for individuals and Indians like you and me. Rajesh Mirjankar, the MD and CEO of InfrasoftTech joins us now on the show. In fact, InfraSoft has started providing the e-Rupee technology stack to banks already. It already has 2 banks of the 11 live banks as per NPCI and is in talks with other banks as well. Rajesh, congratulations and thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and the Money Show. Well, let's start off first for about what exactly this new payment mechanism entails. What is the purpose of this payment mechanism that's now a new one available for Indians?
Very well. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. The e-Rupee scheme is a voucher-based payment solution that allows for offline transactions to be conducted as well. So the advantage of the e-Rupee scheme is that you can have a voucher that is either an SMS or a QR code that can be provided to the end beneficiary, and the beneficiary need not be connected to the internet. They can carry the SMS to the merchant and get that scanned and get the payment done. So the advantage of this compared to the other solutions already in place is the fact that you don't need an intermediary bank for this, for the beneficiary to get the payment conducted, nor do you require a working mobile connection. It can work even on feature phones. So to just explain this in more detail.
SMS that the beneficiary, that's the citizen would. Sure, go ahead.
Typically, what happens here is that if a corporate or the government decides to provide these vouchers to, let's say, its employees, or the government decides to provide it to citizens, what you would have is that I can go to my issuing bank and say that these are the sums I want to be issued to so and so mobile numbers. Once that is done, the issuing bank can then generate these vouchers and send the SMS or the QR code to the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries now can approach the merchant. I'll give you an example here, that if I had to provide vaccination vouchers, what I can do is give vaccination vouchers to my employees, or the government can provide it through the Ministry of Health to various beneficiaries. And these vouchers can be taken to the hospital or the vaccination centers. Now, even where I have to pay for the vaccination, I can just provide this SMS. Once the merchant scans this SMS or the QR code, what will happen is that an OTP will appear, which will come on the beneficiary's mobile. This OTP comes by SMS. I then enter this OTP on the merchant's POS, and the payment is now debited from my voucher and credited to the merchant account. So what happens here is, I don't need to necessarily have a balance in my so-called bank account, because I already have the voucher on my mobile and I'm just utilizing that voucher. So that ensures that the beneficiary need not have a bank account as well. All the beneficiary needs is a mobile number. And when you look at the advantage of this, the rural masses will hugely benefit from this, because there are various schemes you can then launch on, let's say, providing fertilizers, subsidies, and various other aspects which are provided through these vouchers, where the end beneficiary need not have a bank account. So when we discuss about the financial inclusion, earlier the theory of financial inclusion was purely by saying that you have to have a bank account. Now you can go by the e-Rupee scheme and say that you just need to have a mobile phone.
Okay, so Rajesh, this credit, if you could call it that, in my prepaid voucher, it will be only a one-time use. Is that right?
Right. At the moment, as it is launched, it's a one-time use where it is meant for a particular purpose. And carry on, Nabita.
Yes, go ahead, Rajesh.
So it's a one-time use voucher, like I said, for vaccination, etc. And the MCC code also can be provided to say what purpose it can be used for. So the moment it is used, the voucher expires and the merchant gets the credit.
So basically, it will be one particular service for which you get the credit in your voucher. You have to utilize that service, and once you've done that, that's the end of it. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. That is right, Mobina.
All right, understood. Let's talk then about the services that will be covered from the government's perspective. Right now, Rajesh, what are the you mentioned a very good example, and that's like a vaccination certificate. So I can take my mobile, I can give my mobile number, and then the government will be like, okay, here you go, here's a credit for one shot right now, and maybe I go back and take my second. So what are the other government services that could be available via this e-Rupee?
The government services could be, for example, fertilizers schemes that we could extend it to. That let's say you could have fertilizers being provided through the vouchers, like you have the 6,000 rupees being credited annually for seeds. You can then translate that into a voucher itself and provide that. You can have other schemes like beneficiaries, like for example, if we are providing subsidies for gas cylinders, etc., that could clearly glow as vouchers, so that the end beneficiary could benefit using these vouchers. It is secure because the aspect of leakages is removed with the fact that this voucher is only applicable at the merchant which is mentioned on the voucher. So the purpose is also sort of pre-decided, and hence the aspect of leakage of funds also is avoided. You could extend this for benefits that corporates want to give through for government schemes as well. And that's a very novel way of doing this, because instead of going through a fund and then not knowing where it is used, the corporate can clearly know that they generated so many thousand or lakh vouchers that were benefiting, let's say, a village or so. So the adoption of CSR plans through with the voucher scheme becomes much more easy and auditable as well.
Okay, well, a number of uses, especially for the lesser connected parts of India, rural India. But I think even for private sector employees as well. I know you mentioned the usage of e-Rupee for CSR purpose by corporates, but I understand that even for private sector employees, this is quite a feasible option. So could you explain to us what are the services that could be available for employees? Is it something that could perhaps, replace what you get as meal coupons or, the conveyance or travel coupons?
Absolutely. It could, like you rightly said, Mobina, meal coupons is pretty much something that is straight away applicable. Travel vouchers, importantly, if you look at large retailers or malls that provide shopping vouchers, credit card companies that give shopping vouchers, you could have these vouchers clearly loaded directly on the mobile phones. Because it happens so very often that you have the vouchers available in a handbook and you sort of forget the book and you left the voucher benefits. Here, what you have is the voucher is now available on your mobile phone, and something that you can clearly use at that counter. Over and above that, there are various aspects. For example, I can have fuel being paid from these vouchers, that I can have a truck operator using these codes to credit the driver's mobile number with the SMS for payment of the fuel bill. So you don't need to carry cash now for payment of the fuel bill, or a credit card that could be used for other purposes as well. If your purpose was purely to pay the fuel bill, you can just get a fuel voucher and credit that.
Now, I think from what you've explained, Rajesh, that all I need for this is my cell phone. It need not even be a smartphone. A regular candy phone as well would work. But what happens then if, I've got my credit and, I've got that SMS saved on my phone and I lose the phone?
Then the fact is that the voucher is possible that it could be misused in terms of, let's say, that phone, that SMS being accessible and the voucher then being used. But the fact is that because it is a controlled aspect of which merchant it gets paid at and for whom, then the moment you register a complaint, there is a possibility of freezing that voucher as well, and making sure that the end beneficiary's account is not that is, the corporate account is not debited or the government account is not debited, and you can get a reissuance of the voucher. So there are schemes in which you can do that, because the fact of loss of a phone causing issues or loss of a card causing issues is always there, but a redressal system is clearly available in the e-Rupee, because you can have the voucher being suspended if necessary, if there is a loss of phone in that case.
All right. How do you see this product develop as well going forward? Right now, of course, its services are relatively a little more limited. You have certain products and certain services that you can purchase with the help of the e-rupee. But do you see it expanding from here on, given the fact that you don't need internet, you don't need any intermediary, you don't need a bank, all you need is your mobile phone?
So I can typically extend this from peer to peer as well, that if I wanted to gift somebody or make a transfer to somebody who does not have a bank account, you can clearly extend it to that level, that I can say that tomorrow I will extend it not from corporates and government, but also from person to person, and have the voucher capability to say, I'll credit my housekeeper's salary on their mobile number. And they've got now the coupon and they go about it. Now, the only issue is being about saying, what do they buy from the merchant? But there are ways to say that how these coupons can be used at ATMs, etc. That could be a potential extension of this product in future. The other part is that is if it is open for access at ATMs, you could have a specific ATM for which it is targeted. There are multiple usages you could do from this product from that purpose of extend it to individuals as well. But importantly, I think it sits somewhere between what we have as a transition to a digital rupee or a digital currency, where currently we have the need for mobile phones as to conduct the digital transactions. This now brings in, the e-rupee brings in the facility to have a mobile-less, or rather feature phone-based secure transaction, and not just compulsorily mentioned for smartphones only. And further on, it could then extend itself as the way in which you could have offline transactions being done for multiple use cases. With this launch, I think various industries will then come out with use cases that can be applied for both government as well as the private sector in their own ways of how these vouchers can be used.
Well, just a glimpse into the future of the e-rupee and how, Indians will be using this new technology just launched by the Prime Minister. Rajesh, thank you so much for sharing all of that and more with us on The Money Show.
Thank you.